Well, hello, friends, and welcome to week 3 of Every Bit Counts Challenge, hosted by Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead. And this is where we put up something every day during the month of August. And this is my 3rd week. And this was a busy week. My thumb is so much better, so I was able to get in the kitchen, get in the freezer, pull out some meat. And I did some stew beef meat. I've got 7 pints of this delicious stew beef meat canned up, and it's so good. I think I have a video on that. I'll link it below. I had a lot of peppers, so I did cowboy candy with the jalapenos, and y'all can see I got my fall stuff up. I did 3 jars of the cayenne peppers in vinegar, hot pepper vinegar, and then the rest of the bell peppers, I put 5 quart bags of bell peppers in the freezer. So today's task, I went by my local produce stand. About this time of year into September is when the peanuts come in, and these are green peanuts grown not far from where I live, and I got a bushel bag. My family loves boiled peanuts, so I'm going to start boiling these, and we do eat a lot of them, but we also put them in the freezer, and then you just thaw them out, and it's just like they're fresh all over again. We love them salty with a big tall glass of Pepsi. Now, I have a full video on how to process green peanuts into boiled peanuts, so I'm going to leave that below. I'm not going to show you all the steps, but do stay tuned through the video and see how I did the cowboy candy, how I processed the stew beef meat, that bag of garlic that I've had forever. I finally got it dehydrated. It's in a nice quart jar that will last me all through the winter. So I'm just so excited to get to work on these peanuts. Oh, we love these peanuts. My family's going to be so excited to know that I've started doing the peanuts. So let's get busy. Stay with me through the video, and I'm eager to get started on next week. I've already got in my mind everything I'm going to do. So thank you all so much for watching. Let's get cooking on these peanuts. So September is peanut season, so if you want to do boiled peanuts, make sure you check out the video below. I give step-by-step instructions on how to cook boiled peanuts. And I ended up being able to harvest 15 gallon-sized bags of boiled peanuts. I'll be giving out some to the family. And I've got one more batch there laying on a towel. Those are green that I'll start back up again today. I ran out of time yesterday, but these are so good and we love them. Now, moving on, my garden has been very, very, very full of peppers, and they keep right on growing. So I've got bell pepper, I've got cayenne peppers. Look how big and long those are. They're just so beautiful. And that little curly one. I'm going to show you how to make hot pepper vinegar. Then here are the jalapeno peppers. So for this recipe, cowboy candy, you need turmeric, mustard seed, apple cider vinegar, garlic, and sugar. Now in this large stock pot, I'm adding in the 4 cups of sugar. And now we're going to be adding in the 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. And that's the kind of vinegar that you want to use, is apple cider vinegar. So adding in the 2 cups of vinegar. Now we add in our spices. And turmeric and mustard seed are always a must when you're making pickles. So I keep that on hand at all times. There's the turmeric, and now we're going to add in the mustard seed. Now I am making this for gifts because I cannot tolerate really hot peppers. So this is going to be given out as gifts to those in the family that love the hot stuff. So I'm giving this a good stir. And then we're going to be adding in the garlic. So I had 7 cloves of garlic that I have sliced up. And you can see those thin slices over there. I'm going to add that to the pot. And then we're going to get this over on the stove and bring it to a boil. Now while this is on the stove, I've got my gloves on and I'm going to be chopping up or dicing those peppers into strips. So I'm using a knife and just going to dice these up. And it called for 2 pounds of jalapenos. I didn't quite have 2 pounds, but I have these really cute little mini bell peppers, and so I'm just going to de-seed these and add these right in here to bring it up to how much I need in the jars. So the brine has been simmering for 10 minutes. I'm adding in the peppers, and I'll bring it to another boil and let it simmer for 10 minutes. And I'm going to tell you what, this will open your sinuses up. It is hot smelling. And then after 10 minutes, this is what it looks like. The peppers are a deeper green, and we're going to jar it up. Put it in the water bath canner for 10 minutes. And there you have, I've got 4 jars of beautiful cowboy candy all ready to give away. So now we're going to work on the hot pepper vinegar. And if you like collards or mustard, turnip greens, and you probably like hot pepper vinegar on them. So I have washed my peppers very well, and yes, these got a little bit too long, but they're going to work. I've got 2 or 3 jars that I can fill. I have nice, clean, sterilized jars. They're not hot, but they have been sterilized, and I'm just tucking in these cayenne peppers, and then you just pour in apple cider vinegar, and that is all you have to do. Now these don't have to be refrigerated. I do refrigerate mine, but I know my mom and grandmom, they never refrigerated theirs, and so that's one easy way to use up the peppers. And so now I've got 3 jars of fresh cayenne pepper or hot pepper vinegar on my shelf. I'll be giving my dad that great big jar because he loves it. Alright, it's another day, and I've got everything set up to can stew beef meat. I set it up the night before. I've got my jars cleaned. I've got my stew beef meat out, thawed out, and we're going to start canning it. And I raw pack these in pint wide mouth jars. So my jars were sitting in the really hot water. The water in the canner is hot. And I also have my teapot, my electric teapot, with some hot water that I like to pour on a little bit on the meat. So I've packed this in chunks. Big chunks you'll want to cut in smaller pieces. I'm adding a half a teaspoon of canning salt, and then I'm just working in the jar to make sure it's packed down and no air bubbles. And once I get it to 1-inch headspace, we're just going to put on the lid and the ring and then put it in the canner. So I've got 7 jars in the pressure canner, And I'm going to be putting on the lid and letting this vent for 10 minutes at a really good steam pace. Then I'll put on my weight and I bring it up to 10 pounds of pressure. Pints 75 minutes, quarts 90 minutes. And I just love this meat. It is so tender and delicious. So you haven't tried it, you need to try it. Alright, I had this big bag of garlic that I picked up at Sam's, but this is the first time my thumb has been well enough to get these peeled. And so while that stew beef meat was in the canner for 75 minutes, I stood there with my canner. I don't ever leave my canner. And I put my garlic, after I broke it apart, I put it in a jar and I shake it real well. That's my little trick to easily peel the garlic. So I put 4 or 5 cloves in the jar, and this is big garlic. It was really nice. I think I paid $3.97 for this big bag of garlic at Sam's Club. So once it's all peeled, then you take your knife and you just slice it thinly. And then you just lay it on the dehydrator tray. And then this needs to sit in the dehydrator for 8 to 10 hours. It did take my dehydrator 10 hours to dehydrate that. Then before I put it in the dehydrator, all of my stew beef came out and it all sealed. It was wonderful. So I knocked out 2 projects in one day. So here is the dehydrator. I've got all my peeled garlic on it. I set it at 125 for 10 hours. And this is what it looks like when it's dried. It's a little deeper yellow color, and you should be able, when you crack it in half, it should be crunchy. And then I filled up my quart jar, and now I've got garlic all year ready to use in recipes. I even was able to make a big batch of zucchini nut bread, and I'll put this in the freezer and pull out to have for breakfast. So here's the peppers, the peanuts. I even had time to start decorating for fall, so I cleared off my kitchen shelves and I've got those all decorated. I'm working on the rest of the house, so stay tuned for a fall tour coming up in September. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a very blessed day, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and please visit Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead and follow the hashtag that I've listed in the description box below.